Well, here are the advisories that have been issued and the winter storm warnings that have been issued. So, first of all, the purple area here, these are all winter storm or winter weather advisories here. So, Springfield's included at much of the Ozarks, except far southeast, included in that beginning later this evening and going through probably about 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, probably. When the snow finally lets up. I think this area here bears watching a little bit more. They may extend that a little bit. At no time do I think we meet the criteria for an ice storm warning, but there will be some ice accumulation possible in the Ozarks. Excuse me. And then this is the winter storm warning for pure snow with that color up to our north. And we'll show you some model output here in a minute that indicates what I think some of those snow totals will be, and you'll understand the need for that warning. Well, the first stop I'll make here is to look at the high resolution model and see what it's showing for reflectivity and precipitation type. And I'll just kind of go through this here. This will go through actually 48 hours, but we won't need it to go that far. So let's just kind of advance it here. And we're looking at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Here's about 5, here's 6 a.m. right here. And you're starting to see definitely some signs that winter precipitation is moving into the Ozarks. Back that up one there. And this is all due to diurnal temperature change. Not that we're seeing a lot of it in this storm, but it is going to be colder in the morning. And so that is exactly why you're seeing this area of mostly sleet as indicated by this model. But the kind of orange-red color is also freezing rain with sleet in the core of it. Very typical. The blue is snow. So that's the start of this tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Who cares about that? Every single decision maker with regarding whether school will be open tomorrow morning or not. So sleet does not really usually accumulate that badly. Freezing rain is usually a bigger problem. The heavier snows, if this model is correct, would be to the northwest of Springfield. So that could be a problem for those school districts up there. But we'll just keep advancing this forward here and just see what time does to us tomorrow afternoon. So this is 8 a.m., 9 a.m. So you can kind of see there's this continual zone right here of sort of a winter mix. But mostly it's showing up as sleet, and that all has to do with the vertical temperature profile. And you know, the details of that, even with the high resolution models, are not always known to a great precision. So that's why you use the term, we use the term forecasters wintry mix all the time, because quite frankly, it's not real clear cut. Even though the model makes it look that way, what kind of precipitation is going to happen exactly at every single moment. But you can already see it's kind of at this point, this is 10 a.m., we go through the day, we still have lingering snow throughout the day, early afternoon still around, then finally it ends here in Springfield around 3 p.m. And this is the HRR model, by the way, so let's get another opinion. That works in meteorology and also in medicine. Well, this is the North American model. The resolution isn't as good, but it's a tried and true model. And let's just see what it's looking like. And I think when I looked at this earlier that we're not seeing a whole lot of surprise here. Everything starts about the same time. So that right there is 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that's looking very similar. Oh, it keeps jumping around on me there. 6 a.m. there. Let's see. That is, 6 a.m. So we still have this area of mixed precipitation in southwest Missouri. Again, a function of what the temperatures will be tomorrow morning. And that's just it. The temperatures are going to be right on the line. There's going to be some areas that are slightly below freezing, which by very definition, if rain falls into that, that's freezing rain. But to have an ice storm, you need to have that, a lot of heavy rain and a much deeper cold air. In other words, 31 is technically below freezing, but if we were in the mid-20s, that would be a different ball game altogether. So yes, you have to call it freezing rain, but will it accumulate significantly? I don't think the answer is yes to that, but we'll take a look at that here in a minute. I'll just keep advancing this. Now the dam jumps in bigger increments. So here, this is 9 a.m. Still surprisingly similar, only this wants to print out, again, more freezing precipitation, freezing rain east of Springfield, where the cold air is still going to be kind of trapped, and there's elevations to consider there too. So there's a lot of factors going on in this forecast. But one thing is consistent, that the heavier snows are showing up northwest of Springfield in a band like that. That one difference with the NAM here is that it is showing up as heavier and the backlash right here through extreme southwest Missouri. So again, some variation from model to model. And then finally, if we just kind of step this forward a little bit more here, again, I keep grabbing the mouse wrong, but here we go. So that right there, that's noon. and then we still have backlash snows, flurries around the Springfield area at 3 p.m., but it's essentially winding down by then and will be gone by dinner time tomorrow. So that's a look at the North American model. Very similar, except it's heavier snow in some places, a little more widespread freezing and rain. But again, like I stated, there are different levels of freezing rain. Well, let's take a look at some projected snow totals and some ice totals to wrap this up. Well, let's take a look at the high-resolution model again and see what it likes to add up for snowfall. So we'll kind of advance this forward here. It starts out around northwest Missouri, and this is through 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, and we start seeing that snow really accumulate around Clinton, north of Joplin, in extreme southeast Missouri. Just let this go here. We'll stop this at about, let's go to 6 o'clock. There we go. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, that's pretty close. So you've got 4-inch totals around Clinton and some of these other areas here, like these bands right in here and right in here. Those are actually approaching half a foot, 5 to 6 inch totals. So that's a very strong possibility. And then, of course, the bulk of this snow is up here in northwest Missouri, northeast Kansas, parts of Nebraska. St. Joe is coming in at 7 inches, but I see patches in here where this is approaching a foot right here, and some of these right here. So that's the HRR model's idea of snowfall. Let's take a look at ice here, and I think I should be able to change this, and hopefully it'll maintain. Now I have to move it down a little bit. There we go. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. I just have to keep adjusting it a little bit. But we'll take a look at ice right here. Again, we'll just kind of move it forward in time. And it is not real excited about it. Springfield, only 5/100ths of an inch. Maybe a few patches in areas south of here where it might approach 1/10 of an inch of ice. Again, the temperatures are going to be right on the line there. So even if it does manage to ice things up, it may not last. So is it a travel hazard? Yes, absolutely. Is it an ice storm? No, I don't think so. Not according to this model. The next one we'll look at is a little more stepped up, but not that much more. So that's a look at the HRR. Now, again, forgive me, as I change maps here and change models, things are going to jump around a little bit. So just bear with me here. So we'll go to the NAM model. I'm just doing this live. So we'll go right to there. Let's see, can I do that? Now let's go here. There we go. That changes to the NAM model, and we'll go back to total snowfall here and move that down for the sake of the audience. There we go. This is the NAM model now. We'll step this forward in time. And here again, we're looking at the higher totals in extreme northwest Missouri, but we're looking at a 5-inch total in Clinton, 5.2. Springfield coming in, I think ultimately this goes up to, let's see, yeah, that goes up to about 1.6, whereas we were close to 2 on the other model. So, but we're still seeing these heavier bands from southeast Kansas up through the Clinton area. So we're looking at half-foot totals there, and still looking at 10-inch or 1-foot totals way up northwest of St. Joe. So again, that is the NAM's idea of snow totals. And of course, you want to look to this area right here to see what that mixed precipitation is going to look like. So let's do that. Again, it's not going to make it smooth for me, but let's just hit the button and see what happens. Yeah, I just have to move that down a little bit. There we go. That's the total ice accumulation. So let's get that lined up and step that forward a little bit here. So yeah, there we go. And that right there should about sum it up. And so yeah, it's south of Springfield, so it puts us mostly in snow, but we are seeing some ice accumulations that could approach somewhere between 1/3 of an inch and a 1/2 inch way off southeast of Rolla and maybe around the Houston area. That's according to this model. So again, if you haven't caught anything by looking at all this, it's the idea that these models do vary a little bit. The general consensus, though, is that if this is going to be a heavier ice storm, I think it is going to occur. And I wouldn't even describe it as an ice storm necessarily, but a heavier accumulation of ice, I would place that in this area here and maybe up into that area there that this model indicates, with Springfield kind of missing that a little bit. But I'd say Springfield could get a little bit of coating of ice and maybe a good 2 inches of snow, and just immediately north of us 3, 4, even 5 inches of snow if you go up to an hour north of Springfield. So looking exciting, and all that happens between around 6 a.m. tomorrow and 6 p.m. Tomorrow evening, and everybody's going to want to know if school is canceled. I think they're probably strongly considering it north and northwest of Springfield. Here in the city, it's anybody's guess, but when things happen overnight, sometimes those decisions are made in the wee hours of the morning. So, could be that we burn through one of those snow days here tomorrow. All the kids are saying, well, we can only hope. So that's it for this broadcast. Stay safe. If you're traveling tomorrow, be cautious. And I don't see any more significant weather for a while. And I also want to just go ahead and plug every other day. I do a national version of this called Weather to Watch. And when it gets local and like hazardous to us, I do this one, heads up. So if you're just wanting to know the general weather trends, head over to Weather to Watch. Have a good night, be safe, and we'll talk to you later.